Right, we're going for a second tape. I was 9 minutes into that first video. I thought, God, I'm talking crap. So I've deleted it and I'm starting again. Hello, my name is Kirsty, Crafting Kirsty, here on YouTube and on Instagram. It is Tuesday 30th of September and I am back with a knitting and crochet update. Hope you're all well. I hope you've all had a good summer. I hope you're looking forward, enjoying the start of autumn. My last podcast was in May, so I have quite a lot to show you, quite a lot to talk about. Obviously, that's 4 months, lots happened, and then the main thing knitting-wise is that I went to the Bedford Yarn Show, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, and we've had a few trips away, so there's been a little bit of yarn haul here and there, but not huge amounts. Do have quite a lot of finishes to show, and I will start again and try not to waffle this time. Okay, so my first finish, and these won't all be in exact chronological order because I can't remember. My first finish is my Sabai top by Suzanne Muller, or from Suzanne Muller. So I knit this last year in a DK weight. This year I knit it in a 4-ply and I knit it in Pasquale Pinta, which is a durable organic merino silk rami blend. I can't remember which size I knit because I haven't written it down properly. I do, however, know that obviously because I was using a 4-ply rather than because I was using a fingering weight rather than a DK weight, I needed to sort my gauge out. So I ended up using a tutorial from Tash of Mostly Knitting. And she does a lot of videos, but has a lot of tutorials as well. And one of the tutorials is how to sort your gauge for the size that you want. So if you've got the incorrect gauge, you do this formula and it then tells you essentially what size within the pattern range you need to knit for it to fit. So I used that for this top and it worked absolutely fantastic. I was so pleased with it. The only thing I did do slightly differently was the first Sabai top that I knit. The underarms are very long, I find long and gaping, and I don't particularly like wearing it because my bra strap shows. So I was just a lot more careful going down here. I kept on trying it on every sort of 4 or 5 rows. And I think, I can't remember because I didn't write it down, but I think I was a good few rows short before I then joined in the round. But I'm very happy with it. It fits. So this is the second version of the Sabai top where there is no... The first version has ribbing, edging details. This just is a cast off edge, or cast on edge, I suppose, depending which way you look at it. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this. I love the drape of this fabric. It is a slightly more pricey fabric, but it is lovely to wear, and I do love the drape of it. And I like the colour of it, and that is fairly true to colour. So that is my first finish. Sabai top. The second top I have finished is the Vegas top, again by Suzanne Muller. No real reason, just I liked this pattern, so I decided to go for it. My main issue with summer tops is I like to have my bra straps covered. You know, I'm just an old fuddy-duddy like that, but I do like to have my bra straps covered. And I thought, well, this is a slightly different neckline. I do love the boat neck line on that top. Well, this is a slightly different one. This was knit in James Brett 100% cotton DK weight. I did have a bit of issues, so I'm not very good with my sort of provisional cast-ons. I see more issues picking up the stitches. So on one arm I picked it up, on one side I picked it up and it was absolutely fine, and on the second shoulder I picked it up and I ended up with these sort of almost like pearl ridge marks, which you can't see very well there. They washed it. I've worn this a couple of times. It has washed to a much nicer garment than when I'd initially finished it. So I ended up going in with a thread and just doing the same on that side. So it's no longer an error, it's now a feature. I-cord edgings. I'm quite happy knitting an I-cord. My issue is actually finishing the I-cord. And I have watched a couple of tutorials and I just don't seem to be able to get it correctly. So again, it's not too bad on the underarms. The worst part, and you can tell I was at the end of the project by this point, I was just like, oh, I'll just get this cast off, is my bottom edge. It's just shocking. I mean, that's not even meeting, that's just a wool having a train crash. So I would like to find a tutorial on how to properly finish the I-cord, or yeah, I mean, I have watched one or two and I just don't seem to be able to get it. But there we go. So yes, I have worn this a couple of times. I do tend to wear it with a cardigan over it because as I said, the edging details aren't fantastic. Just the join aren't fantastic. Although, as I have said previously, it has washed out to a much better fabric than it was. Initially, when I first knitted it, the stitches really were big and chunky, and I didn't particularly like the way it looked as a fabric, whereas I do prefer this now a lot more. And yeah, I have worn it a couple of times. It'll now go away until next summer, but I'm pleased to have this out so I can, yeah, wear it next summer. I do quite like the colour. It's very, well, I wouldn't say it was raspberry, but I think it was called raspberry. I can't remember now, I've lost the band. But yeah, so that's the Vegas top by Suzanne Muller. The next thing I made, and I did have a bit of a boo-boo here. The next thing I made was a friend to friend by, not Suzanne Muller, from Leslie of A Friend to Knit With. So this is the second time, there's a bit of a repeat theme going on throughout this year, throughout this summer. This is the second time I've knit this. So this is it's not a shawl, it's a shrug, essentially. So it's supposed to, can I get it on without ruining my immaculate hairstyle? So it goes at the top, it's supposed to sit down here, like this. And it's supposed to be quite snug. And all of her pictures online are of people sitting doing yoga and looking particularly smart in this. So here's the top. So that is, sorry, that's a better pattern, better way to show you. So I knit this. This was one of the first ever patterns or garments I knit a couple of years ago. And I didn't have the right yarn and I didn't have the right needle size. And so funnily enough, it didn't work very well. I enjoyed knitting it and I enjoyed the actual fabric pattern because I think it was a tweed that I used. It had lots of different colour nets in it, which was great. But it just didn't fit. I think it's sort of the back of it finished up around about here and it just, yeah, I wasn't very happy with it. So I think I was watching Christy of Knitting by the Bay and she had knit another one. I thought, yeah, I really do like that. It is very smart and, you know, yeah, I could see myself using it. So I went on to the Ravelry page and the yarn called for was Hue and Me. Now, for some reason, I just assumed it was an American brand we wouldn't be able to get over here. But I looked it up and it's everywhere. I've never seen it before, but it's everywhere. I think I probably got mine from Love Crafts. So it's 2 of 1, sorry, let me glass on, can't see a thing. 2 of 1's Hue and Me, chunky wool blend, 80% acrylic, 20% wool. Yeah, machine washable and dryable. So I wasn't getting the correct gauge, so I thought, I'll tash it. That's not a problem, I can tash it. So I used my little mathematical equation from Tazza, mostly knitting, and it fell, with the gauge I had, it fell exactly into a size range. I thought, that's brilliant, I'll do that. So I needed to buy the needles, so I bought the needles and bought some yarn with it, because obviously needles can't travel alone, which I'll talk about later. And I had done my gauge swatch flat, and I had done a decent size gauge swatch, I'd done it flat. And then I started knitting around and I was on circular needles, but they were slightly smaller. They were the smaller end, cable wise, which is fine. I don't like dragging my stitches around. I'm quite happy for them just off the needles. So knitting away happily and merrily, and I've doing my, because you start as bottom up, which is always a little bit like, So it's bottom up, I started knitting away and I got to the point where it told you to decrease for the shoulders. And I thought, I'm just going to check that it is long enough for my body and I want to start decreasing that. So I put it onto the barber cords And as I was taking it off the needle, I was like, oh, thank God. There's a lot of fabric here. This is a lot of fabric coming off of here. Anyway, it's supposed to be reasonably snug. My gauge changed to the correct gauge. So whereas I would have said, I don't know, I was looking for a 53-inch circumference, it came out at 57, which is what it had told me, which is what I had started, which is what I'd knit, because my gauge swatch for then the size, 53 size, actually meant. Anyway, so I was like, oh, okay, so it's, the equation is completely correct because it's worked for everything else that I've done. It's just my gauge changed, whether it changed knitting in the round or whether it just changed because I was more relaxed knitting this. I don't know. But I would like to know if anybody knows, if you do normally knit in gauge swatch on the flat and then knit in the round, and they do always say it can vary, will it vary to being a small or a large gauge? Just so I know for in the future. Because I think I was only one stitch out on my gauge swatch here, but I thought, no, I want it to fit really well. So I'll do my equation. And actually, I think possibly one stitch you can get away with. I don't know. But anyway, it's fine. It fits, it goes down. So I really like it. I do, it's a 80% acrylic, 20% wool, so straight into the washing machine. Tumble dryer. And yeah, it'll just be really good for throwing over the top as we start to get a little bit cooler. So that's my friend from Leslie of A Friend to Knit With, and she obviously has a YouTube channel as well. One of these days I will knit this and it will fit properly, because this was the second one I did. So then I moved on to a shawl, or I was working the shawl at the same time, I don't know. So I have finished the shawl. So we start. Oh my goodness me, sorry. Ham-fisted it. Right, so we start here, and we go out, and we go out, and we go. There we go. So this yarn, I'll bring it up close. So I've got two yarns here. You've got the white yarn, and then the other stripe is just a self-changing yarn. So I bought this when I went to Wales last year with a group of friends. We actually had a cross-stitching weekend, but I went to a yarn shop in Oswestry. And I bought Knit Pro Symphony Terra it's fingering in Party Lights and Jasmine. So the Party Lights obviously are the multicoloured, and the Jasmine is the cream coloured. Now, I use Knit Pro Symphonies non-stop in my knitting. It's my favourite needle. I hadn't realised the yarn I bought is actually my needle. Those are the colours of my needles. But anyway, I bought this to knit the Birthday Bash by, Callie Monster of Monster Knits. You won't see this very well, but essentially it's a slip stitch shawl, or mosaic knitting, is it? And the cream's the sort of what's it called in the stonework? Oh well, whatever. I didn't get on very well with that pattern at all. Kept on making mistakes, and it just was driving me insane. So I eventually decided I would just do, plus I was getting an awful lot of white and not enough of the colour through. So I thought I'll just do a 2 round swap, 2 round swap, 2 round swap. Found a pattern to use, started it, fortunately memorised it, because for some reason I didn't save the pattern and I couldn't remember what it was called, and I've never been able to find it since. So I'm really sorry I can't help you, or I can't tell you what that pattern is, but it basically is asymmetrical. I don't actually, I have this every time I do a podcast. I've made a shawl, don't really like it, don't really know how to wear it, not really what I'm looking for. So to my mind, when I want to knit a shawl, I want to knit a shawl that I can put over my shoulders and literally wear it as a shawl, not wrap it 8 times around my neck and look a bit like the Michelin Man. But this is one of those ones that I've got that is now going to be wrapped around my neck and looked a bit like a Michelin Man. Although it's not too bad. Although the problem then is you then get the back side to it as well. But anyway, so there we go. It's very soft, it's lovely. It's superwash merino and polyamide, fingering weight, knit pro. So yeah, don't really know when I'm going to wear it. Not sure I've got a jumper that'll go, or a jacket that'll go with it. So I might just wear it as its own thing. I mean, I could wear it a bit like this, but then I just like these long bits that hang down like that. So yeah, this was, I have to say, and it was a learning curve to do it, and I don't particularly, you know, I don't like to do it, and I'll be very careful going through it. This was a case of I've bought the yarn, I just need to use it up. So yeah, so I need to be a lot more careful, a lot more mindful in my purchases next time. But my daughter, one of my daughters might wear it. We shall see. I have now decided, because I do have another shawl, not on the needles at the moment, but next year I'm going to do a Stephen West shawl, and I've been going through his projects, and he does the sort of half sun shawls, but basically half of a circle. I'm sure there's an official name for that. And that looks much more like the sort of shawl I would like. I don't like these pointy ends. There's a proper name for it and I can't remember it and I haven't written it down, so we'll just move on from that. So that will be a plan for next year. I will try yet another shawl. I think I've probably got about 5 or 6 in the cupboard, and all of them are like, oh, it's okay. But, right, socks. I then had a bit of a sock knitting session. I think the last time I saw you, I was halfway through this pair of socks. Very nearly. I think I've got non-identical twins. Not exact, but very similar. And this is Echoes, Gusto Wool Echoes, hand-dyed sock weight, 80% merino wool, 20% nylon. Echoes, Gusto Wool. I bought this in Loop of London when I went with my friends Stitchy Rach and Chris Hine 29. We had a day out and did a day's yarn shopping. So these are quite long. I have this never-ending quest of working out the weights for my socks, or the lengths. So I always use, at the moment, I always use Kay the Crazy Sock Lady, her vanilla sock pattern. I really enjoy it. I've got to the point where I practically know it off by heart. My only issue with it is that it's quite short on the leg, and I prefer my socks to come higher up my leg. I also prefer to use more of the wool if I can do. So with every sock, I go another 10 or 20 rounds longer. Because obviously top down, I'm then playing chicken at the bottom, or thinking, oh, I'm going to be playing chicken. I'm not. Even having weighed it and done a lot of mathematical equations, which, as I said, I'm not very good at, I still have all of this yarn left. But hey ho. So I think these were at 120. So I've got 120 rounds on the leg, and then it's always 8.5 inches for me from the back of the heel to then start decreasing for the toe. So yeah, very happy with those. Love the stripe. I do like self-striping yarn. I'm just not particularly good at getting it to match up. So having finished those, I then thought, oh, I'd quite like to make a pair of DK weight socks. Now, for some reason, I thought when I was going to make DK weight socks that I would end up almost with slipper socks or bed socks. So I followed another DK weight sock pattern from Kay Crazy Sock Lady, and I've just ended up with normal socks that are in a DK weight, which is fine. I absolutely love them. So quick off the needles. Oh my God, they fly off the needles. It's fantastic. So from that point of view, I'm very happy with them. But they won't fit into particularly boots per se. They'll be more welly boots, or, you know, they won't fit into my normal shoes. Anyway, the first pair I decided to make, I used this yarn I bought from, please have, no, it hasn't got it on. It was Alternate Universe down near Bristol when we were down there. So I bought this as Tanglefoot recycled sock yarn, content 100% mixed fibres upcycled from unwanted knitting machine cones. So as I said, it's a vanilla weight. No, it's not a vanilla weight. It's a vanilla sock in a DK weight yarn. And this is DK weight because actually, have I got, yeah. So I've got a bit left over here. Surprise, surprise. You've actually got two strands here, the blue and the green that are marling together. And I was a little bit concerned getting down to the heel if I'd end up dropping part of the yarn or not. I didn't, I seemed to manage fine. So again, so I've got these. Now these are not particularly long. As you can tell, I've got two of these balls left over. That's fine. I will be making making a lot of stripy socks in my future. So I think I've probably done about 60 rounds here. I can't remember now. You know, the sock pattern itself stays the same, particularly the foot length. It's just the amount of rounds I put on the leg. So here we go. I have these two. I'm sorry I haven't got them on sock blockers. It gives this lovely, and it's got quite a bit of a halo to it as well. But yeah, so I'm really happy with those, really pleased with those. So that was the first pair of DK weight socks that I made. And then because they literally flew off the needle, I thought, oh, I'm going to do another pair of those. So I'm just going to take them off because I'm actually wearing them. Because they're lovely and warm, and having put them on this morning, I don't feel like taking them off. So the second lot I made, or the second pair I made, I used Regia, the Stockholm colour from Shashmaya. I don't know. I remember I said that once in a yarn store and everyone rolled about laughing, and I can't remember the correct pronunciation of it now. But that brand, I bought their sock wool machine washable. 75% virgin wool, 25% polyamide, and this, oh, it's in the Stockholm colour. Sorry, I've already told you that, haven't I? So, and this is this colour. So you do get a little bit of a pattern on the leg there. So again, this is just the vanilla DK weight pattern. Okay, the crazy sock lady, heel flap and gusset. I don't know what the toe's called, but the normal toe. So yeah, so I really like that. I really like those, as you can tell, because I'm wearing them. Excuse me, whilst I put them back on. So yes, I think there will be more DK weight socks in the future. I would still like to make some slipper socks, or, you know, sort of over socks, bed socks, I suppose. But I do enjoy the DK weight socks as well. So that was 3 pairs of socks. 2 I made and 1 I finished. And to wear on the DK weight socks, I used a 3.25mm needle for mine, which seems to fit. And I think I probably went for the middle size cast on again. That seems to be what I always do. And then my final finish is what I'm wearing. This is my Felix pullover from Amy Christopher's. Second time I've knit this one. So here we go. So you've got this lovely detail down the raglan in creases. Down, just nice. Yeah. Really happy with this. So this yarn I bought, I think it's Hay on Wye. It's Hay on Wye, the one with all the bookshops in it. I was waiting to pick John up from a walk, and I went into the yarn shop and it was the last day she was closing down, which was such a shame, but she had everything on offer and she had quite a few balls of this. So I bought this because I thought it's a nice autumnal colour. And this is Wensleydale long wool sheep, Wensleydale long wool. So Wensleydale sheep produce the finest and most valuable lustre long wool in the world, spun in Yorkshire, 100% pure new wool, 100 grams to 160 meters, hand wash only, Aran weight. So as I said, this is the second time I've knit this pattern, so you don't get much of a better view of the pattern there. And the first time, not that there's a theme going, I didn't have the right wool and I didn't have the right needles, and I just guessed my size. But it fits okay, but it's a much, much thinner jumper. So I have written down here everything. So I knit the second size in this because, again, my gauge was off. Oh, here we go. So it should be, my gauge was, honestly, I've written it down and I haven't even written it down in any way that would actually help me. Let me just see, what is the gauge on this? Gauge is 14 stitches by 20 rows, and I came out, I think when I started it was 13.5 by 21, and then when I blocked my gauge it was 14 by 20, so I just cracked on. So it recommends 2 to 8 inches of positive ease. I don't like huge amounts of positive ease, so I think I just went for about 2 inches of positive ease. I knit the second size. Oh, here we go, lots of notes on the back. So you use a tubular cast on, which I have not been very successful at. Oh, I forgot to write down the names. Oh, that's annoying. Oh, right, sorry. So I know she's Jojo Lou. She's a new podcaster I've been watching. She has also knit a Felix sweater pullover. It's just finished hers. Her cast on and cast off look a lot neater than mine, which is very annoying. So the tubular cast on, this is the first time I've done this, and I use tutorials from Very Pink Knits and Mostly Knitting. I divided for the sleeves and then cast on 11, which was what was called for in the pattern. I have quite large upper arms, which I know I do. So whilst it fits across here, it then gets really tight under here. Now I don't want it huge underneath here, but it would be nice to be able to move your arm a little bit. So I tried it on once I'd cast on those 11 stitches and it was far too tight, far too tight. So I ripped back, because fortunately I've been a good girl and put a lifeline in. And I redid it, and I actually cast on, so I should have cast on 11, which was for my size. I actually cast on 17, which was for the largest size in the pattern. This is the distance between here and here. It's how large my shoulders are. So I cast 17 on, that fit absolutely fine. Possibly could have gone with 1 or 2 less, but I don't care. I like the way it fits. I knitted down 10 rows, and then I started decreasing each row by just knitting 2 together to get back to the original stitch number for my second size. Now I think you can see, can you see? It would be there. No, you can't really see, I don't think. Oh, possibly. Because I also did it, obviously then I did it on the, when I picked up together around, because I tend to start at the top, cast on, finish that first ball by the time I'm sort of here and I've just got it into the round. And then I like to do the sleeves next, because I don't have an issue with sleeve island, but I just like to get them done, because then once you try it on, you know it's sitting properly for the length. So obviously then when I came back and started going in the round for the body, I also decreased here to get back down. And I think you can see it a bit more there actually. Can you see there is just that, you know, you can't see it when I'm wearing it, but it does mean that it fits. So the best invention ever are barber cords, because I am now big time, I just try everything on, because there's nothing more depressing than finishing a project if one doesn't fit. Anyway, so yeah, basically it's the second size with the exception of my armpits, because they appear to be quite large. So the tubular cast on, as I said, now I haven't washed this again, I have blocked it, but I haven't worn it and washed it. I'm not, sorry, not gonna, Yeah, I don't think mine's that tidy. I thought Juju, I thought hers was much better than mine. But anyway, I will wash it and hopefully that'll just ease everything into place. But yeah, so I really enjoyed knitting this. I don't tend to rage knit or even race my knitting. This was a rage, or probably a week, 10 days at the most. All I wanted to do was knit on this, and I was actually house sitting for my sister. So I'd taken this and some quilting projects and some cross stitch projects, and I just knit on this all week and got it finished. I don't tend to rush, and I like the process as well as the end product. But anyway, yeah, so this was done in a week. And I think that is it for my finished knitted projects. 30.5 an hour. It has been 4 months. It has been 4 months, but I'm afraid we do still have quite a bit to talk about. I'm so sorry. So we will go on to whips next, I think. So my next big whip is the Piping Hot Sweater from Lily Kate France. Lily Kate makes. And I think part of the reason, well, I did this one first because I've been stalling on this project because I downloaded the pattern and there's just so many pages. And then I read through the whole pattern and just went, and I shouldn't have done that. You just need to read a section at a time, and actually you just need to knit a row at a time. And now I've started it, it's really, really easy, and the pattern is fantastic. It holds your hand throughout everything. But when I initially downloaded it and looked at it, I just thought, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to manage that. Anyway, Piping Hot Sweater by Lily Kate France, who I think is Lily Kate makes certainly on YouTube. Can't see it very well because it's black and white pattern, but essentially it is I think it's a saddle shoulder. And then it just has this piping detail running. It's easier to show you actually, isn't it? So this is a hot mess at the moment because I've just got balls everywhere and bobbins everywhere and barber cords everywhere. But essentially, so this is the back at the moment. So you start off with these pieces, which are your shoulder pieces. And I think this method of sort of colour work is called intage, I think. I don't know. I'm just doing it as she tells me to do it. And then this is the back. So essentially, that is what it is. And then I will have a front and I will have a pipe of pink going down the front as well. And the pipe of the pink along the shoulders will also go all the way down the arm. So you've got 4 lines of pink. I am using John Arbon Textiles Devania DK in the colour Nightshade. This is 50% Exmoor Blueface, 30% Bluefaced Leicester, 20% Lustre Beads, DK weight, 233 metres per 100 gram skein. This gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous tonal purple, I suppose you'd call that tonal, but there are blues and there's just everything in it. Love it, love it, love it. And then the contrasting piping colour is this mohair. I've lost the ball band, no idea what it is, don't know what colour it is. Touch wood, I'm going to have more than enough. So yeah, so I went to start it and I'd saved up because you have to have your piping colour goes on little bobbins. And so when I sort of saw that you had to do that with your piping colour, I thought I'll just use some toilet rolls. So I saved up some toilet rolls, watched her tutorial, thankfully, because I had to learn how to do obviously, you start the shot, had to learn how to get my piping in. The first thing she said was, you really need bobbins, please don't just use some bit of cardboard. So I ordered my bobbins possibly from Wool Warehouse, I think. You can't see them because I think I got a pack of 10 or something, very inexpensive. And it really does make a huge difference. It does make life a lot easier when you can just hold it onto the bobbins like this. what am I doing here? So the gauge post blocking was 22 by 32. My gauge on a 4mm needle was 20 by 27, but I decided to stick with that because I did try a 3.75mm needle and I got 20 by 28. But I just felt the needles were too small. I'll be going on forever doing that, and I quite liked the fabric that was made with 4mm needles. So I am knitting size 3, which, because I haven't got the correct needle gauge, not needle gauge, the correct gauge, which is 22 by 32. Not that, does anybody ever think about the rows? Never think about the rows. Because I've got 20 instead of 23, I've tashed it. So I'm knitting size 3, which is 36 to 38 inch bust, but the bust circumference will actually come out as 45 inches, which gives me a good 5 or 6 inches of positive ease, possibly, hopefully. So let's hope that that works. Really enjoying it. Again, sort of went to town on this, did the 2 shoulders, picked, you know, this is all new to me, picking up along the edges of here. Obviously this form of colour work is all new to me. You have short row shapings here and here, which have gone fine. The only thing I have messed up is somehow, because I do like showing my mistakes, because somehow managed to get, I don't think I actually dropped a stitch. I think I just upset it somehow, because it's just refusing to go back into its stitch shape. So once I have finished it and washed and blocked it, if that doesn't sort itself out, I might try and duplicate stitch it. Not that I've ever done that before, but I might give that a go. And yeah, my stitch is just performing up a little bit weird there. Because I thought I dropped it, so I kept on, sort of as I was going back and forth, I kept on deliberately dropping it, but I could never find a stitch to actually physically pick up to pull through. So every time I'd sort of think, well, it must be that bar, and then I'd just get this big hole. So in the end, I just ended up sort of leaving it. And when you actually put it, I haven't lost a stitch. I think I have just somehow or another really stretched it out. Anyway, other than that, touch wood so far, all is going well. Did I finish the ball of yarn? No, I think I got to the end of this back section, and I now need to pick up for the front work down to then join in the round. And I just felt that I was becoming a bit obsessive with it, and I probably could do with starting something else. So I did. But I'm really, really happy with that. I love the colour of this yarn. Look at all those colours. Fantastic. Again, not the cheapest yarn, but very, very nice. So that will be a special jumper when it's finished, hopefully. Hopefully special as in I can wear it for special occasions, not special as in differently dodgy. Probably shouldn't say that. Right, we'll move on. My next whip, I decided I've never worn leg warmers in my life. I don't know who I was watching, but somebody was watching and showing off their leg warmers, so I thought, I need a pair of those. So I went on to Ravelry and I found the Lava Kit leg warmers from Susanna Pabin. Susanna is spelled with Z's, not S's. And the Lovely Kit, I'm just saying that wrong, is known as the Norwegian Moonstone. Has a distinctive appearance thanks to its unique light reflection. But those are the leg warmers and the pattern I shall be making. So this is quite exciting for me because I've done one top with lace work in it, but I've never done patterned work as such. I don't know if this actually counts as, yeah, it's a combination of cables, but actually they're not cables. They just appear, when you read it, it's just twisted stitches. So to my mind, a cable, which I've never done before, but whenever I've seen the tutorials, the cable is when you take stitches off of one needle, either bring them forwards, backwards, knit the next, and then pick them back up again. Whereas these are just twisted stitches. So I've watched the tutorial, looking forward to it. I think it's going to be reasonably doable. I am using West Yorkshire Spinners Fleece Blue Face Leicester 100% British wool. I bought this from a shop in Alnwick up in Northumberland, where I met, is it Abso Crochet Lee? A lady that I follow on Instagram who was working at the shop at the time. We had a good old natter. So this is 100% British wool, DK weight 225 meters per 100 grams, and mine is in the colour Fossil, which is a lovely, would I say petrol black? Not really. There is a hint, it's not black. It's a bluey, very dark bluey grey blue, just it's a fossil coloured. So far, I only started these a couple of days ago. I've got here because I now need to go onto a smaller circumference of needle, because she does say that you can do it by magic loop, but I am absolutely sure that if I try doing it by magic loop, the twist stitches or the twisted stitches will be the ones at the ends. And I don't really know how I would do that on a magic loop without messing it up. So I have ordered a very smaller circumference of cable so I can just do it in the round, which I'm looking forward to. So that is a new cast on, which I'm really excited about. Didn't know I needed it, but now I know. I'm looking forward to it. I've cast on for the middle size in this. And then my last whip at the moment is yet another pair of socks, because we always have a pair of socks on the go for mindless knitting and travel knitting. And I'm using a yarn I bought, I don't know where from. Sock Soft Spin 4-ply superwash, 70%, 75% virgin wool, 25% polyamide. Rico design. Oh, here we go. Yeah, Rico design. Sorry, couldn't see it for looking there. Self-striping yarn. This is it. And again, vanilla sock pattern from Kay, the Crazy Sock Lady. I think I will probably do about 100 in the round. I think that's going to be about the sweet spot. This 120 that I did on here, whilst I like the length of it, the tightness of the rib around my calf is just a little bit tight. I'm sure it'll stretch. But yeah, so I'll probably do 100. I don't know what I'm up to now. I know I was at 50, I think, the last time I counted. But I'll get up to about 100. So this is this lovely greens, browns. Yep. You know, boring vanilla sock, which I really, really like because it's just mindless knitting. And so those are all of my knitting whips at the moment, and will be until I've finished, certainly until I've finished that piping hot sweater. So then I went on a bit of a crochet kick. You say a bit of a crochet kick. So I started, well, I think what actually happened was I don't know if I bought some yarn or I did something, and I tried to wedge something back onto my yarn storage shelves, and they buckled outwards and all the shells fell down. It was like, oh. And John, who never normally comments about my stash of anything, sort of walked past and said, I think you might have too much stuff. I think that's what those shelves are trying to tell you. Like, oh, yeah, I really need to use some of it. So what I had a lot of was acrylic wool from where I've been making crochet blankets and things. So I really like Attic 24 patterns, and I think I've done 3 of them now, and you always get more yarn than you need. So I had leftovers from that. I've then done a couple of other blankets of my own choice. Again, I've had leftovers from that. I had yarn that I'd bought that I really wasn't going to use for the pattern that I thought I was going to use it for, so that went into that bag. So I had a lot of balls of mainly acrylic yarn. And also, I don't know why, the minute harvest is over, I start wanting to make a crochet blanket. So I thought, right, I'm just going to start using up a whole load of these balls to get rid of some of this stash. So I started off crocheting this. So this is based on the Attic 24 blanket, the Yuletide blanket, which I have made. So that was one of the first kits I bought, and I really enjoyed making it. So I've done this, and so far this is the size I've got to, which is sort of this size, but it's not really big enough yet. However, the yarn I mainly wanted to use up is this, the blue yarn here in the middle, which is one that I'd actually bought initially to make a shawl with, only to find that it was far too big and it wasn't going to work. So I sort of put these three colours together because I thought, although they pick up, the beige and the yellow does actually come up in the blue sort of multicoloured yarn. So that was fine. Finished those up and then picked up these blues out of my stash. Finished those up, but haven't got, it's not as big as I would like. So in the effort of this being a stash saving or a stash buster, I didn't feel I could go and buy any more yarn to finish this off with, although I would like this to be bigger. And I do think this is going to be quite a nice sort of summer beach blanket or summertime blanket. So once I have finished the rest of the stash up, I will probably, somebody's given me some yellow yarn to go, although I'm not sure it's 100% going to go in this. Somebody has given me a ball of yellow yarn they didn't want. So I might go and buy some more to make this bigger. I do like it, I like it. I just need more yarn, which, you know, is a bit anti the using up the yarn that you want in the first place. But I have used up a lot of yarn in this. Still only really scratched the surface and had a lot of balls that were sort of just bits left over. So I know what I'm going to do. I would like to crochet a storage tub. I see lots of people have done them, really like them. I think that'd be great. I can then put a blanket quantity of yarn in there, and that can be my sort of a, blanket project bag. So I went online and found a tutorial, which I can't find anymore. I'm sorry. American lady does a lot of YouTube videos. And it's supposed to be a rigid, a rigid bucket. This, as you can see, is not rigid. So in her project, she had used 3 yarns held together, which I did, and they are all, I'm fairly sure they're all DK weight yarns. And I did that, started the circle, carried on, did the increases as I was supposed to do, and she said, right, you've reached, I don't know, row 20. This now should measure, 20, diameter of 20, and mine was at sort of 12. I thought, well, I've done exactly what you said. So I think her yarn must have been heavier than just DK, 3 strands of DK weight held together. So I thought, well, that's right, I'll just go bigger. Once I'd gone bigger and I was happy with the sort of width that I've got, or the diameter that I've got, I then need to start going up the sides. And I followed her tutorial for it, and my sides were flopping about. So I then messaged some friends of a group, a local group that I'm in, and I know they make an awful lot of baskets. And I think the biggest difference to me seemed to be that as you turned, I can't remember if you crocheted into the front or the back loop, I can't remember which it is now, you did one of those, and then once you had essentially turned the sides, in her tutorial you then went back to knitting through both loops, or crocheting through both loops. And then when I asked my friends, they weren't very helpful, to be honest with you. I can't remember what reply they gave, but it wasn't what I wanted. So I thought, well, I'm just going to follow her tutorial. Anyway, it's not self-rigid, but there we go, I don't care. So I have made this absolutely massive crochet bag. So that's my bottom part, that's my circular bottom part, and then that's essentially where I turned it, and then I've started working up. And what I've done is, because I've had 3 strands, I've held 3 strands together. As I've run out of, or started to run out of one, I've taken it out and added a third one, a different one in, and I've just sort of, I mean, it's not a fade, you can see distinct lines here, but this, one of these yarns will be in here somewhere, and I've just, you know, it's a scrappy project. I did the handles on it that I'm very pleased about, and actually this is fine, it's solid, it holds a blanket weight worth of yarn in it. It's just not the tub that I was expecting it to be. So I'd be interested to know if you think that mine isn't self-rigid, either just due to the sheer weight of yarn, or if my base is, surely the base shouldn't matter, whether the base, I just went too big with the base, or if you've made them, do you knit through both, do you crochet through both loops, or do you just the whole way up the side crochet into the front or back loop only? So that would be really helpful, thank you. Or if you've just got a tutorial that you always use, if you could let me know, that would be really good too. Because I have enjoyed doing this, and it's a really, really good way, the amount of balls of yarn I've got through in this, really good way to use up all that yarn, and it's a useful project at the end of it. It's just not what I had initially planned. But yeah, so I crocheted that, and then my niece had a baby last year in October, and I crocheted her the Bertie baby blanket, and I handed it to her and said, you know, obviously if you'd like me to enlarge it, if it's still going, you'd like me to enlarge it as your daughter grows, I am more than happy to do so. So I then got the message of, yeah, can we have a bigger blanket now, please? I was like, yes, of course you can. So I went and found, fortunately, I had some left over. I'd used Wendy's Supreme DK, and actually they have quite a good stash of this in Hobbycraft, because when I went online and was trying to remember the colours I'd used, and then I went into Hobbycraft because online didn't have all the ones that I needed, I was actually about to buy the wrong yarn, so I'm quite pleased that I didn't do it online. This is 100% premium acrylic, and I have made the Bertie baby blanket from Little Doolally Crochet Patterns. So it's a really crappy photo. Well, it's a black and white photo, which doesn't help. But it's this lovely pattern. And I've got this far so far. So what she had is this with a white border. Now I haven't done the white border yet because I think this looks a little bit smaller than what I remember the one I handed her being. So I've asked her to count the amount of coloured rows so I can make sure that I have got it correctly, because I've been going off with a photo for it. But what I think I will do is I will do another 2 of these, because once you get that initial, oh, this is upside down, once you're not, it matters. Once you get the initial chain row and first row started, which, oh God, I hate, I just can't count. But anyway, once you get that started, it's actually a really fairly mindless, easy pattern. And this didn't take me very long either. So I'm going to do, she's got one, I'm going to do 3 of these with the borders, crochet those together to make a square, and then probably do another couple of borders just to strengthen it up a bit. And then if she wants me to make it bigger again, which I will quite happily do, I can then start doing some going round and round, a bit like this sort of Attic 24 blanket, or put some granny squares around the edge, and then, you know, the possibilities are endless. But yes, so that is 7/8 of the Bertie baby blanket. It just needs white edging around it, as long as I've got the right number of rows in it. And I have used, as I said, Wendy's Supreme DK weight. This is in the colour Rose, which is this gorgeous, gorgeous sort of rose colour, sort of rose colour, cream. Barbie pink. And raspberry. all available at Hobbycraft. All very reasonable price, 100% acrylic, so she can just chuck it in the wash, chuck it in the tumble dryer, and that is it. So this is obviously still a work in progress. I'm just waiting on her to get back to me. And then I will finish that blanket, or I might finish that blanket. And then, oh again, sorry to mention, Jojo Lou has made a crochet granny, it's like a granny, it's not granny skirt, it's granny stripe jumper that looks really, really good. And I want to make one of those, but I'm not doing that until I finish those and done this crochet. But basically I have now, apart from obviously all the yarn I've bought for her baby blanket, which is fine because that'll sit in storage until I need to keep on enlarging it. I have now got rid of 90% of my yarn balls. I do have bits like this left that are of acrylic that are, or of this sort of size left, that are going into my scrappy blanket, which I haven't picked up, I don't think, in over a year, but you know, I've got lots of stuff. So I have significantly reduced my yarn stash now, and I'm really pleased about it. I think it's always great to have a couple of projects on the go or in the line, but yeah, it had got a little bit out of control, the amount of just acrylic, balls of acrylic I had lying around that. So yeah, I've used them and I'm really pleased about it. Haul, there has been some haul. I can't really remember where I got most of these from, but there we go. So I have bought, so I've been quite intrigued with my summer top. So obviously this is very, very nice fabric that I absolutely love. This is the 100% cotton DK, which is great. And then I've got the Peacock tee, which is in an acrylic cotton blend that I really, really enjoy wearing. And so I sort of thought to myself, I'm just going to try a few more summer yarns to see what I really like. So I have bought some Drops Cotton Light, which is 50% cotton, 50% polyester. I've never used Drops before, but I thought, right, I will give it a go. I had thought this would be a 4-ply, but I think for some reason, I don't know why, I think it's DK, but I could be wrong. It's 4mm needle, 21 stitches for 10 by 10. I'll look online and it will tell me. It doesn't actually specify on here whether it's a 4-ply or a DK. I think it could be a DK, but anyway, sorry. This is in the colour 54, which is a sort of teal blue. And I've bought enough yarn of that. So organised, for a little note in, to make the Tolster tee. So I'm just going to make myself a Tolster tee in this. That was it. Have I made a Tolster tee before? I have made a Tolster tee before in a DK weight yarn. Again, I really, really like it. Well, I don't dislike it. But I would quite like a Tolster tee in this sort of weight of yarn. But as I said, this is reasonably pricey. So I thought, right, we'll give this a go. And I do like the Peacock tee, which is the 50% cotton acrylic. I found really comfortable to wear all summer. So I thought, right, I'm going to try. And I'm sure I bought this thinking that this was not a DK. Anyway, I will look online. It either is or it isn't. But I'm going to make a Tolster tee, just a plain Tolster tee with this at some point. So that's my first bit of stash or haul. My second piece of haul, this was a bit of a splurge. I had to buy the needles for my friend, and the only place, the place that came up first to find them was the Oxford Yarn Store, which I've heard about a lot, but I've never been to yet. And they had this thin line, Sanders yarn. Now this has got to be a 4-ply. 53% cotton, 33% viscose, 14% linen. everyone that I watch on YouTube, knitting podcasts, everyone uses this brand. I've never used it before. I've never seen it actually. So when I saw it online at the Oxford Yarn Store, I thought, oh, I'm just going to give that a go. I'd really like to see what it's like. It's definitely a 4-ply. So hopefully this will come out with a drape like this. I've bought this colour, which is really, it's not a baby blue. It's just that little bit of sort of grey dullness to it, but it's a lovely, lovely blue colour. And I'm going to make the Hope vest with this, which is actually a t-shirt or a shirt or blouse or vest. Get there in the end. A vest I was going to make earlier in the year, but I chickened out of it because it's got a bit of cabling that runs down. And again, I read through all the pattern and just went, I can't do that. Yes, I can. I just need to do a bit of time. But anyway, so I bought this, and this will be the Hope vest, which I'm really looking forward to using this yarn just to see what all the hype is about. And I am quite looking forward to making the Hope vest. And then my last, my last bit of yarn stash came from Conwy in Wales. I don't know if that's how you say it, I think it is. We were walking around the coast and there's a yarn shop. So we stopped, John had a coffee and I went and bought some yarn, and I have bought Cambrian wool from the flocks of Wales. There's a Welsh word in front of it that I don't know how to pronounce, I'm sorry. And this is Hafan. The colour is Hafan or number 6. It's a DK weight. And where does it say? 100% wool. And I think it is, yeah, it's Welsh wool. Here we go. Here's the piece of 100% Welsh wool from the Cambrian Mountains. Our premium wool is the finest grade of Welsh mule, the name given to the local Welsh breed when crossed with the blue face Leicester. Yeah, so sorry, the world my own there. I bought these 2 different colours, so I bought 2 dark ones and 1 light one. I've got a coat not far off this colour, and I thought I might make myself some mittens with these to go with it. They come with some cool little Welsh dragon stitch markers on them. Sorry, I'm holding that at a funny angle, which is why you can't see it properly. And then I bought myself some sheep stitch markers, stitch holders. So yeah, so I'm very pleased with that. So those are my 3 bits of yarny haul. And then, as I said, I went to the Bedford Wool Show, which was absolutely fantastic. I could not believe how busy it was. But it was, I mean, it wasn't too busy, but you know, I'm used to going to quilt shows and you drive in, and whilst there seems to be a lot of people at the quilt shows, the car parks never seem to be overly full. We were queuing to get in, queuing to find a space, but you know, not for hours. It was really good. I don't want to put you off, so I'm just saying it's great to see yarn show being so well supported. Anyway, what did I buy? Excuse my stomach. What did I buy? I didn't buy any wool because I had enough. Didn't need any more yarn. There was lots I could have bought. I didn't. So I bought the Hot Butter Yarns Janie B cardigan designed by Jackie Bog. And that is that. So it's sort of a block colour, multicolour cardigan. Yeah, nothing about it really. A traditional constructed cardigan in 3 colours with very generous pockets and a bit of ease. Good to go, casual or smart. I bought myself some sunflower needle ends. Really cool, so I can use those now. I bought myself a sweet little beginning of round marker. I think I'll use this for. So I normally just have the bulb pins as my stitch markers, and I use a sort of a thicker one for the start of round, but I thought, well, this could be my start of round little markers. So that's quite sweet. And I bought myself from under the olive tree a shawl clip, it's called, which I'm very pleased with. So it's essentially, so I don't know how best to show it, so like that. You've got clips on the back there and it unhooks at the front. So you clip it onto your fabric from clips on the back, so you clip it onto the fabric and then it meets in the middle and holds it there. Wanted one of these for ages, so I was quite pleased. And she had an awful lot of designs and different types, but I just chose this quite simple one because I thought, well, I'll see how it works first of all. And then the last thing I bought, which didn't come from the Bedford Yarn show. We went down to Cornwall at one point to do some walking, and we went past Cowslip Studios. So we went in and I ended up buying a Brooklyn Tweed knit and crochet blankets book. And now I want to knit all the blankets. Love it, love it. So it is, well, it says knit and crochet, but I don't know how many of them are actually crocheted. Although I suppose if you were clever enough, you could just work that out yourself. I can't. So you've got traditional patterns, minimalist patterns and colour play patterns. And then you get various sizes within the book. So each one you just adjust to the size you want to make. And then there are some easier, simpler ones. I should have looked through this earlier if I can't find it straight away. Basically, I would like to make them all. So pretty, so pretty. And of course, you know, the book makes them sound so easy. These all look a bit complicated. Let's go back to the beginning. Oh yeah, look. I mean, something like that. Surely it can't be that difficult. So once I've finished my rash of crochet baby blankets and all the rest of it, I think I will possibly start a big knitted blanket, you know, with the understanding it's not going to be done for quite a while. But yeah, so, oh, sorry, that's by Jared Flood. So that is what I bought, and it's absolutely, love it, love it, love it, love it. Really like it, in case you hadn't guessed. Oh, this would have been far more sensible if I'd have just found these pattern pictures or pattern pages. Oh, right. Sorry, we'll start again. Here we go. Right, rather than flicking through it. So that is your traditions. Yeah, I'm not sure actually how well you're seeing this or not seeing this now. Sorry, it's a bit glary. Let me see if I can just find the next. This is the minimalist patterns. Anyway, and I've shown you the other ones, so there we go. I think that is it. 1 hour, nearly 10 minutes. If you've lasted this long, thank you so very much. Yeah, I've had a real spurt on the knitting and the crochet at the moment. I don't know quite why, but it will calm down, but hopefully continue, just steadily continue. So I did want to mention there's 3 new podcasters that I've been watching that I've been really, really enjoying. As I mentioned, Jojo Lou. I don't know if it's got crochet after it or not. I can't believe I didn't write these down. Then you've got Rubies and Pearls. And there's a third lady in Wales who is a midwife. She's just finished the porcelain sweater. So sorry I can't. Anyway, I will put the 3 of them in the sort of description box below anyway. And I will be a bit more sensible on my next podcast and actually write their names down and talk about them properly. But they're all three certainly new to me. I think reasonably new to podcasting within this last year. They've started their channels, sort of Welsh and English. And yet really enjoyable to watch, really enjoyable to watch. So do check in the description box below and have a look to see and go and give them a like, or go watch them and see if you like them. Enough waffling. I'm not filming all of this again. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good knitting session until I next see you, which will be a good couple of months now. Take care. Bye.